Hi, I'm Kara Infante, and this is Bookish Flights. In each episode, I chat with one bookish guest as we take some time to sample and savor the pairing recommendations from their bookish flight. We hope to give you suggestions to cultivate your TBR list and nurture your leisure time through books. In today's episode, I am chatting with Hazel Terpstra. Hazel is here to do another kids episode with us. Hazel is 11 and a 6th grader. However, her reading level is a bit above that. So the recommended ages for the books she talks about today will be included in the show notes. Welcome to the show, Hazel.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining me here today. So fun fact is I knew Hazel when she was much younger, so I'm seeing her as a beautiful young lady right now, friends. And so it's so fun to see her on the other end.
Yeah.
So, Hazel, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and what kind of things you like?
Okay, well, hi, my name is Hazel. I am in 6th grade and I'm 11 years old. And I like reading, volleyball, walking dogs, and yeah,
Art.
art. Yeah.
I love that. Do you have a certain type of art you like to do?
Hmm. Well, I like abstract
Okay.
and I like to draw cartoons.
Oh, that's really fun. And it ties in with we have a graphic novel we're going to talk about today too, right? So
Mhm.
my Marcos and I were just reading the like Where Is series, or Who Is. We were reading the
Oh,
Who Is Scooby Doo, and it talks about like cartoons when they first started and how they had to make 24 frames for a 1 second of cartoon. We were reading this last night, and I was like, I mean, I don't have the patience to do to do that, let alone create like a 3 minute segment. How many? And it was like 4,000 images they would have to create for a 3 minute cartoon when it first started, which is crazy. Could you imagine doing that? No, that would be a lot. Wow. What type of books do you enjoy reading?
I enjoy reading fiction and historical fiction, and I like graphic novels. The only time I will read nonfiction is if it's a Battle of the Books book or if it is a graphic novel.
Yeah. Can you tell us about this Battle of the Books? I'm intrigued.
Yeah. Battle of the Books is a competition between teams from different schools that read the same books. And then after like is maybe a couple of months, they all the teams come together and compete in a quiz bowl style event. And it's like trivia style questions they get asked.
Okay, so they give you the list of books to read ahead of time. And how long do you have to do this?
I would say about maybe 2 months. Uh,
Okay. Do you, so since you're on a team, do each of you almost like specialize in a certain book, or do you all read the same books?
well, our team, we just try to have everyone read as many books as they can. And some people will be on the stage more than other people because they have read more books, so they know more quotes.
Okay. So, and then is this part of your classroom or is this extra?
This is extra. Yeah.
Oh, that's so fun. I wish they had this when I was in school. So, how many books have you read so far for it?
I've said maybe 12 out of the 20 books.
Okay, wow. And is it just students within your school or you compete against other schools in this?
Compete against other schools
In the district.
in the district.
Wow. Okay, this is so cool. I wish I had this. What did you read a book? Like you said, you haven't really read a lot of nonfiction, but did you read a book that was different than your normal reading? And did you find you enjoyed it?
So I read a book called Death on the River of Doubt, and it is a story about Franklin Roosevelt and how he went on his adventures on the River of Doubt.
Okay.
Um, it was okay. It was very boring, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There's a lot of facts.
Yeah. I
I
think
think
that's the thing with nonfiction sometimes, right? Is it's a lot drier than our fiction reads.
but otherwise it was pretty good, and there was like pictures that were very interesting to look at because they were
Yeah.
all in school.
And I imagine even though it was nonfiction, it was still historical. So, like you said, you like historical fiction. So it at least you learn a bit about history as well in that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Historical fiction is my favorite genre too, and I love that they have it for kids because I don't remember reading that of reading historical fiction when I was a kid, really. I think it was more fiction based books.
There's a couple of historical fictions.
Yeah.
Nancy, get up.
Hmm.
Well, you have been so gracious to prepare a book flight for us of some of your favorite books. So, can you tell us what the first book is you brought today?
Yeah, so my first book is I Was Born for This.
Okay, and that's by, is it Alice Oseman? Is that
Yep.
okay? All right, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so I Was Born for This is a two perspective book about one side of the perspective is a boy band rock star, and his name is Jimmy, and he is the lead man of the band, of the three-man band, and their band is very popular in, what is it, England. And the second perspective is a huge fan of the band Angel. She is a Muslim
Muslim.
girl from out in the country. And she meets up with a friend, Juliet, and they meet in London and for the first time to go to a concert for the band. And they are there for a week, and her and the boy band unexpectedly become friends and cross paths. And I really liked it because it was a heartwarming book with a bunch of surprises.
And did you learn of different perspectives from the characters too?
Yes,
Yeah.
that helped with the book.
I love when books have that heartwarming feel. It's such a good story to read that. Okay, and this one, listeners, will have the ages for the books because Hazel is a more advanced learner. So we'll include the ages in the show notes for this, for all of the books, actually, of the book flight. Is there
Mhm.
anything else you want to add about that one?
I don't know if I said that, but the first perspective, Jimmy, the boy band star, he has a major anxiety about his fans and like performing in front of people, which you wouldn't expect that for a rock star. So, yeah.
Yeah. So he has to kind of battle that a little bit, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think is great because I think we all have to do that. I can't imagine it's comfortable getting in front of thousands of people. That was I Was Born for This by Alice Oseman. And then what's the second book you brought today?
The second book Brazen Brazen, Rebel Ladies Who Rock the World. This one is a graphic novel that has 30 amazing women who are actually not well known
Okay.
that we don't hear about often. There's really amazing illustrations, and I'm surprised I like this book because I don't usually like biographies about people, but it was pretty good.
Yeah. And I always love reading about, what might be seen as ordinary people of their time, but then you hear these incredible stories and like we're still reading about them today. And that's a really unique perspective. Are they long, like short stories about each woman?
Well, some of them are like only 2 pages long, and some of them are like 5 or 6 pages long.
Okay.
It's very inspiring too. So
Yeah. I feel like Gabriella, my daughter, has a book. Like when you sent me when your mom sent me the cover of this one, is there one for younger children too? Do you know?
I think Holland has a similar one. It's A's for Awesome Women or something, and it's like
Yeah.
very.
You can pick this one up then and maybe just read one story You don't need to read it cover to cover.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So that was Brazen, Rebel Ladies Who Rocked the World by Penelope Bagiu. I hope I said that one right. And then what is the last book you brought today?
The last book I brought was Salt to the Sea. And it's a really good book, and it's from four different perspectives of four different characters, and it's a historical fiction about World War II.
Do you ever get confused with the character perspectives, or is it pretty easy to follow?
Easy because they're like different. They're almost set up like chapters, like each chapter perspective. Like
Okay.
all the characters, all four of them cross paths because they are trying to leave Europe on a ship.
They come together on this voyage, so they're all on the ship at the same time.
Yes, one of the perspectives is actually the sailor on the boat. So he works on the boat, but he meets them.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, Hazel, I know this is by Ruta Sepetys. Have you read other books by her?
No, but
Okay.
I recommended a book called Between Shades of Grey, which sounds really good. That's on my to-do list to read.
Okay. All right. And then you found that one through the librarian at school?
No, I actually found that book because it's a Battle of the Books book.
Oh, I love it. Okay. So my oldest, well, he's 8, you guys know, but listeners, my oldest is 8. And I met the school librarian at the Christmas event recently, and she came up to me to say Marcos is her favorite student to come in because he always wants book recommendations, which just warmed my book heart. And I think this is something amazing that the school librarians can do for you. Do they help you at school choose books?
Well, we only have one school librarian, but she does help recommend books and
Yeah.
show you know and stuff.
Yeah. So, parents listening, that could be a really good resource for you because I know it's really hard for us as parents to maybe read every single book our kids might read, but librarians can be a really great resource to ask for it. I know my kids like the X, Y, and Z book. What other books would you recommend? And especially ones that work in a school or maybe work in the children's section, like they're going to specialize in that genre of books where we might feel as adults we just don't have the time to do this, so the librarians can be a great resource. So, well, thank you for bringing all of these books. So the last one was Salt to the Sea by Ruta Sepetys, and then we're going to finish with a speed round of questions here really quick. So where is your favorite place to read?
Um, Probably in my bed at night because
Oh,
I have to go to sleep. But I anywhere.
okay. Can you read in the car?
Yes, I do. Read on road trips.
Yeah, my oldest can do that too, and I'm like, I cannot do that at all. That makes me car sick. Okay, and then are you a rereader?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Uh, but mostly just for graphic novels because I read weird and I read one main book at a time. So like every night I'll read mostly that, but I'll read like five different other books at the same time, and which
Yeah.
are usually novels. So
Yeah. I think a lot of people do that actually. So you're not as weird as you think. I have a hard time like sticking with one book because I like to, if I'm in a mood for something else, I like to have another option going.
yeah.
So, lastly, what are you reading next?
I am reading Tristan Strong Punches a Hole in the Sky,
Oh,
which yeah.
I love the title.
The title seems like it's like a sci-fi, but it is actually based off of African myths,
Oh,
which it's about this guy who falls into this world where all the myths and like gods and goddesses from African mythology is there, and there's a war going on.
I bet you'll learn a lot with that. I would learn a lot in that book.
It's a really good book, and it's also a Battle of the Books book. So
Okay. Well, good luck because you said it's next week, right? Is the battle? Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I really appreciate chatting with you.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for listening to this episode today with Hazel Terpstra. Remember, she is 11 and a 6th grader, but has a higher reading level, so the recommended ages are going to be in the show notes for the 3 books that are some of her favorites that were her book flight. We'd love to hear what other books you think would go with this at bookishflights.com. That is also where you can find more information about today's book flight or other books that we talked about. I want to inspire a community of readers. So whenever you share a post about what you are reading or what you are reading next, especially if you have heard about it on the show, please tag us on Facebook or Instagram at Bookish Flights. If you enjoyed the show, please head over to Apple Podcasts and leave a review. Your review not only helps the show, but it also helps the podcast to reach others. Make sure you are subscribed on Apple Podcasts or Spotify to make sure you will not miss an episode. That's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. As Emma Thompson said, I think books are like people in the sense that they'll turn up in your life when you most need them. Cheers to you, dear readers. Until next time.